Welcome wheelchair rugby fans across Canada, around the world, and a special willkommen to our fans in Germany. You guys didn't know I was bilingual. I'm Tim Frick. I'm joined by Adam Frost here on Sudden Death Sunday as the winner of this game gets to go to Tokyo for the Paralympic Games, late August. The loser gets to go home, start working on their next quadrennial plan. Adam, of course, is a former national team player, world champion 2002, has coached provincially, nationally, internationally, runs Canada's Next Gen program, responsible for all the up-and-coming athletes across Canada, wheelchair rugby expert extraordinaire. Germany versus France, a battle of European rivals for this position. Germans with a surprising, I think, 4-2 record. Adam, what should we expect?
Well, Tim, and good morning, everybody. Surprising at 4-2, I suppose a little bit. I don't think I'm shocked that Germany has a game today on Sunday, but did very well, only losing to the two top teams, France and Canada. What I'm expecting is a bit closer game than what we saw the first two time these teams met, which I believe was the first game of the tournament, or at least the first game I saw of the tournament. That game was pretty much dominated by France. I think they won by about 19 goals. And after the first quarter, the Germans started going to their bench, which I think led to the game getting a little bit one-sided. So I'm expecting to see the Germans come out a little bit stronger, keep the game a little bit closer, and obviously try to stay in it so they can have a shot at the end.
So referees for today's game, Claudia Rota from Switzerland and Paulina Schmidt from Poland as we get set for the live action. A bit of a surprise there as Saligi lost that tip to Germany. Here comes Marco Erbst, number 1.
So interesting starting lineup for the Germans. I haven't seen them start this high-low lineup in any of the games that they've played so far this week, so it's a different look for them, and let's see how it goes.
Well, number 10, Walter, getting the nod to start. Normally it would be Wilke, number 5, in there. So we'll see if the Germans plan to match up a little bit with France.
It looks
pays dividends.
Yeah, that looks like what they're trying to do. This high-low gives them a different look than the balance would, obviously, and let's see how it goes.
Le Guin runs the end line and gets the ball into Salagi. He's got some room on the right side. Tracked down by Walter. Nice pass over top to Jonathan Ivernau, number 21 for France. He's really been their best player all week.
Yeah, he's a dominant player out there and hard to stop one-on-one. And I'm sure we'll have a strong game this morning.
Well, Walter tracks down that slightly errant inbound pass. Gets it up to Erbs. He's covered by Nankin, but gets away from him. Up comes Ivernay to stop Erbs, and they're double teaming him. Gets the ball to Walter. Walter looking for a Riedel. Nice pick there. No room for Walter. Oh, that pass. The ball tipped off with Salagi's chair. Time running down on the Germans. Will they do it? No, they won't. And that's a big break for Team France early on.
Yeah, obviously ran out of time on the shot clock there. That defensive stop by the French team was really impacted by the play of Cedric there. He eliminated the German high pointer for long enough that time expired on the shot clock before he scored.
Number 3, Nankin misses on an attempted crack block, but even gets in anyway as he beats Walter. Germans have a young squad out there.
Yeah, a young squad, and like I said earlier on, we haven't seen this line very much, so not just a young squad, but a young lineup, and probably something they'll use a lot more in the future.
So Bongard gets that into Walter. And again, there's Nankin. Erbs, though, able to get a little bit of room. Tracked down by Ivernau, right side. Big hit by Nankin on Walter. He's really got Walter locked up. Spins away now, does Walter. Herbst still a long way from the try line. Now he's got some room. Hit by Salige. Nice pass over top to Walter. He fumbles it, but is able to pick it up and cross the try line.
Yeah, good job reeling that in. And once again, the Germans were able to cross the half line reasonably easily. But once they got over half, key defensive pressure by the French really made it tough for them to get the ball the rest of the way.
A nice screening by Nankin, number 3, as Ivernah goes the length of the court to score easily. France up 3-2 in the early going here, 6:06 to go first quarter. Just a reminder, it's sudden death Sunday, and the winner of this goes to Tokyo. A lot on the line. Walter over top to Herbst. He's tracked down by Ivernah. A little pick from Bongard. Well done. That pass goes into the arms of Le Guin. And we are okay, folks. I think.
That's my first hit of the tournament.
That's Frosty. You took that hit well too. You barely even budged as as the. I don't even know which player it was. I had my eyes closed. I was watching my life flash before my eyes. Oh, your glasses, Frosty, are right. Oh, sorry. Whoops. All right, folks, we are back to the action here after readjusting the table. After taking a hit from the Germans, I thought we took it well. Riedel with the ball. He is surrounded by 5 players, 3 French players, 2 German players, and Salagui guilty of reaching in, and he'll go to the penalty box.
So opportunity for French, the Germans here, to score a goal and get a transition on the French tall player to try and get a deny before the ball comes in.
So Herbst will take his time waiting for his teammates in the backcourt to trap Salagui, so he'll be forced to call inbounder, and that's exactly what happens. So a little bit of a tactical advantage now for Germany on defense. Ivernah turns away from that big hit. He's been lined up by Bongard again. Nice little pick by Nankin. Walter unable to stop Ivernah. Passes over the top, gets the ball back, and nice little give and go by Team France.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see after the inbounder was called that the German defenders kept 2 players on Cedric rather than put 2 players on Donathan, who's probably a bigger ball carrying threat.
Although, as you point out, number 3 Nankin, he's very good at defensively at stopping one of the higher class players. And there's that shot that you took, Frosty. Well done.
I missed it. I'm sure that'll make my highlight reel when I look back on it.
Riedel passes it off its tip bow and picked up by Salagui. Here he comes, right side, some room. Herbst cannot hit him in time. Tried to push him into the goalpost, but to no avail.
Yeah, first turnover of the game by the Germans, caused by good pressure on defense by the French team.
So back comes Germany. Riedel to Herbst. He's got Walter ahead of him. Got to get over center though, and he does. Left side. Here comes Ivernah. Misses on the hit. Nice pass over top by Herbst too.
Yeah, good goal. That's probably the easiest score that the Germans have had yet this morning. So, or not keep saying this morning, but it's not. It's the afternoon, and perhaps that'll be the start of some good things for them.
So Le Guin set to inbound for Germany to Salagui. He's doubled, and now Herbst wheels away. He's caught out. Nice pick by Ivernah. Ivernah hit Walter, I think, into Salagui and took him down. And it'll be Walter that goes to the penalty box.
Surprised that was a penalty against the Germans, given that
so there's the hit right there. Actually, I don't think he even touched him. I think it was Ivernah that took his own man down. But
yeah, so
either way, Salagui will be put back into playing position shortly.
Yeah, unlucky break for the Germans there. It would have been a turnover otherwise, as the
ball came loose.
Yeah,
Yes,
and he fell on top of the German defender. So,
which would have been a penalty.
Yeah,
technically speaking, yes, to France. So the French team with a little bit of a break there, but it was hard to tell from that replay. I mean, he may have got him in the back wheel, but not sure what the rule is on whether when someone else picks you and you hit someone else's chair, you're still responsible for your chair, presumably.
I'd have to double check the exact ruling, the way it's written in the book, before I comment on that. But just my gut says that there wasn't really much the German defender could have done there. He certainly didn't deliberately make contact with the player and only hit him because the French Jonathan knocked him into his own player.
Well, speaking of number 21, Ivernat got the ball now, waiting for his teammates to set up in transition. They will try to stop Walter from entering the play. He does anyway, so nice job by Germany to avoid that declared inbounder situation. Walter is double teamed. Herbst has got a flat tire. Ivernat kind of chuckling there. We can't see it, but France with excellent defensive position, Frosty.
Yeah, and Germany a little bit disorganized on what they wanted to do after the French scored on that man advantage. Nobody called inbounder, so the referee put the ball down, and then that pressured the Germans to have to rush back to get the ball to try and inbound it. Probably a wise timeout because they had no looks.
So down 6-4 with 3:59 to go. Germany makes some substitutions. This is the lineup we're used to seeing with Vilka, number 5, Vecca, number 8, alongside Marco Herbst and Riedel. That ball tipped back and forth around the center area and stolen by France. Here comes Ivernat now. Dangerous place to have the ball is that center line. Ivernat looks for an opening. Herbst reaches in and tries to knock the ball away, but too little too late, as Ivernat will cross the line and the lead at 3 now.
Yeah, once again, the defensive matchups by the French team against the Germans is just proving to be too much for the Germans to handle. They had to dump the ball off to their number 4 on their side of half and wheeled himself into a bit of a dangerous area, and which eventually led to the turnover.
And there goes Riedel down to inbound the ball. Again, young Josko Vilka, Stefan Vecca into the game for Germany. That's their typical lineup, more balanced style. And here comes Vilka now. Crosses center over the top to Herbst. He's hooked by Nankin. Gets the ball to Vecca, and nice three-way passing play by the Germans.
Yeah, some good ball movement there, which did result in the try for the German team. Once again, it's still not looking particularly easy for them to score. They're having to battle for every inch of the court. And once again, great job by the French defensive system.
Certainly having trouble around the center line as Le Guin now into Salagui. Gets it to Ivernat. He's got some room now. Herbst slows him up a little bit, forces the pass, almost stole it, and Ivernat calls a timeout.
Yeah, some finally a nice defensive look for the Germans. That one-on-one matchup, well done, and passing lanes were filled. So first timeout by the French squad.
So we'll take a moment here as we look at the beautiful the Richmond Olympic Oval to thank our sponsors, our sports sponsors, of course, BC Wheelchair Sports Association, Wheelchair Rugby Canada, and the International Wheelchair Rugby Federation. We've got Province of British Columbia, the Government of Canada, Richmond Sport hosting, and as I mentioned, the Richmond Olympic Oval. Vesco, wheelchairs for rugby and day chairs. Moulton, of course, supplying the balls for a number of different sports at the Paralympics and Olympics. House Lager at the beer garden at the end of the court there, and the Marriott and Sheraton Vancouver Airport hotels, thanks to them. So Ivernat looks for some space on the backside, and
So it looks like an equipment timeout by number 3 on the French team, which will force the French to have to inbound with only 16 seconds to go on the shot clock. So perhaps an opportunity for the Germans to come up with a big stop here.
So good, solid key defense by the Germans that time, Frosty. Ivernat likes to sneak in that corner just inside the post, and it was shut right down.
Yeah, good teamwork by the 2 German defenders to take that part of the court away.
So Mathieu Thirier in the game for France, number 7. And there's Ivernat looking for that corner. Finds it this time right side.
Yeah, is able to sneak in there. We had to look through a bunch of defenders, so it was hard to see how much room he had, but obviously was enough to get in.
And the advantage young Vilka gives the Germans, number 5, is that when he inbounds, he's got range on his pass. And that time, long bomb over the top to Marco Herbst as we take a look at Ivernat sneaking in there.
Definitely one of the advantages to a balanced lineup over the high-low originally was the range of the inbounder. Gives him
yeah, when you got a guy with Herbst's speed.
Yep.
Herbst will have to come back to the ball, but instead it goes to Vecca. He quickly relays it up to Herbst. Nice little decoy, had me fooled. I thought he was coming back for the pass. So Germany with a couple of easy tries.
Yeah, so the substitution by the German coach is paying off. They're having a bit easier time scoring than that high-low lineup was.
However, with 2:10 to go first quarter, down 9-7, they do need some momentum.
Well, they do, and not that we're into critical parts of the game yet, but the Germans did win the tip, which means the French team will start with the ball next. So with a 3-point lead, I'm sure the Germans would prefer to keep the score closer.
Vecca takes a couple of hits, gets it up to Herbst. Germany got to get it over center, though. Time running down. Herbst looking for some openings, and instead of calling the timeout, he'll take the 12-second count violation.
Yeah, a bit of a mental error by the German team there. You've got to be careful to not turn the ball over while you've still got 3 timeouts in the bank at this juncture of the game.
Nothing to get too far behind. There'll be nothing to save them for. And here comes Ivernat. Big hit there on Vecca and Herbst. Herbst goes deep. Vilka a little bit slow getting him the ball. Now he tries it anyway, and Ivernat picks it off. Riedel bumps it to Vecca. Over top to Herbst. What a play by Germany to recover from that potential disaster.
Yeah, they got a little bit lucky there. Both, oh, that's unfortunate.
And Herbst, I think, turned a little bit too sharp, didn't quite have control of the ball, and Ivernat will head across the line for France, and France now up 12-7, a minute 15. Germany in a whole heap of trouble here. There's a heads-up play, though, to save that fumble, but Herbst lost the handle.
So looks like the Germans were denied from getting the inbound in and were forced to use the timeout, but are trailing by 5 with 1:15 left to go. So perhaps that last goal of the quarter is even more critical than it was 60 seconds ago when you mentioned it.
Well, in terms of world rankings, Germany, of course, comes in ranked 11th, so they actually moved up ahead of a few other teams that were ranked above them here at the Paralympic Qualification Tournament. France ranked 6. And next up we'll see Canada versus Colombia in the Battle of the Americas for that second qualifying spot. Here comes Vecca now right side. Nice pick by Herbst. And Vecca will cross the line easily for Team Germany.
Yeah, and if the Germans do go on to lose this game, I'm sure they'll be disappointed with this result, but at the end of the day, I'm sure they'll be reasonably happy with their tournament overall.
And such a young team. I mean, these guys have a tremendous future. As Saligi is taking a look at the clock and crosses at 53.9, so also got an equipment issue. It looks like a strap has come loose and probably loosened it up when he went flying down by the broadcast booth here.
Yeah.
At least he had the decency not to run into us, though. So he will come out of the game to get those repairs because they cannot be done in less than a minute. And in comes Verdun, number 33. Vilka gets it into Herbst. Vilka is trapped in the back court. Vilka, nice little pick and roll, but boy, Germany just not able to advance the ball like they were a few moments ago, and great defense by France.
Yeah, the ball's getting stopped, and there's just no outlets, and they're just losing those one-on-one battles, and not a good sign for them if they're going to come back in this game.
Just a reminder, upcoming here at 2 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time now, Frosty. It'll be Canada versus Colombia, and we'll bring you that on the Canadian Paralympic Committee Facebook page, the cbcsports.ca, and of course, murderball.tv.
Yeah, I'm sure the Colombians are happy to be in that game. They had a great game yesterday to beat Switzerland to
end up with 3 wins and 3 losses. Not a bad outing for the Colombians. Herbst trying to spin around Ivernov, a good chair position by Ivernov. Now Herbst tried a ball screen, like screening while he had the ball. 2-on-2, there's just nowhere to go for Team Germany. Great defense by France again.
Yeah, it's really hard for the German teams to score, and great defense by the French working together there to stop that 2-on-2.
And, choosing not to use their final on-court timeout. Suppose you should save one for a little bit later. And here comes Ivernov, left side. He's all alone, following Le Guin, and eventually passes up to Verdun, his far post, and France comfortably in the lead here. Long pass by Herbst up to Vilka, but it's nowhere near the try line, and France will go into the quarter break with a commanding lead, 14-8 as we mentioned. Looking good for Team France right now going to Tokyo.
Yeah, clearly the better team in that quarter. The Germans really had no answer for the French press, plus a couple of unforced errors or mental mistakes, and really the French weren't. There was a couple of times where the German defense was effective, but for the most part, French didn't have much scoring. Mm-hmm. So, if that's the tail of the tape for the rest of the game, this is not going to be a close game by the end of the game.
We'll take a look at the round robin results. Each team played 6 games, of course. Canada finishing up on top, 6-0. Look at that point differential, 118. France, of course, 5-1. The only game they lost was to Canada. Germans with a solid outing, 4-2. Colombia, of course, 3-3. Sweden struggled a bit, lost a few close games. Got to feel bad for the team from Sweden, especially with the Canadian coaching, down at 2-4. Same with Switzerland. They lost a couple of close ones, 1-5. But good performance for the Swiss, as they're ranked 15th in the world, I believe. And Brazil, of course, really struggled. I think they had high hopes after Rio of moving up the rankings a little bit, but 0-6 here at the Richmond Olympic Oval at the 2020 Last Chance Paralympic Qualification Tournament.
I find that graphic interesting in the fact that France and Canada were the only 2 teams to finish with a positive goal differential. And plus-minus isn't the greatest indicator of performance, given you'd never know what lineup is facing what lineup. But still, just for the only 2 teams to be positive in the goals is very interesting to me. And I'm sure it's because all of the other games between those bottom teams were close, and then the 2 games they played against the Canada and the France were probably very lopsided and contributed to those stats.
And so right now we're France versus Germany, and you saw the schedule on the screen there. It'll be Canada and Colombia upcoming at 2 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. Here comes Ivernov, left side, goes around Riedel and hit by Marco Herbst. It It's a bit late, so that initial possession in the second quarter extends France's lead to 7. And I think they've got an equipment timeout. Pretty soon I'll learn all the signals as to are there universal signals for I need a wheel or
Yeah, people tend to use that big circle that we saw some players doing earlier on, but the universal sign for equipment in wheelchair rugby is just touching your shoulders with your hands. So
Becca is in a bit of trouble, gets the ball over the top to Vilka. And the French putting a lot of pressure on Becca, but that left young Josko Vilka alone on the right side.
Yep, nice outlet there, and good to see the Germans scoring on their first possession.
Here comes Ivernat back the other way with Verdun. And, Verdun doesn't start, but boy, he's had a solid tournament.
It's I don't know if you would call him their sixth man, but certainly makes an impact when he comes on the floor off the bench for the French squad.
Vilka, nice grab over the top to Herbst. And Germany gets an easy one. And see Herbst take a deep breath there as he refocuses and get ready for defense. Gwynn calls inbounder, so he'll head back. And Germany trying to double team Ivernat. We'll see what happens. Pass over to Verdun. Ivernat gets free, sets a pick and rolls. Verdun can't get on the ball though. Nice reach in by Vilka. Just gets over the line in time. Hooked by Herbst, but Ivernat all alone, and he's had a tremendous tournament, has Jonathan Ivernat, number 21.
Yeah.
Herbst tries to steal the ball there, but Ivernat protects it.
Looked like they were trying to bait him into the goal line so they could knock him out of bounds and put him in the penalty box.
Vecca now, he's hit by Le Guin up to Herbst. Gonna have to get that ball over center. And Herbst had an opening, flicks it up to Riedel, but because he didn't touch it, Frosty, it's a 12-second count violation.
Yeah, it's a good example of the 12 seconds expiring while the ball is in the air. If been even half a second quicker, that ball would have hit the court and hit the floor, and they wouldn't have been in violation.
So Le Guin inbounds to Ivernat. On their set offense, Verdun crosses into a seam. Not very imaginative and not a lot of movement, although so nowhere to go for Ivernat. Good defense by Team Germany here, shutting down every seam. And there's a timeout called by Thierry. I believe he may have thought he might be in there a little more than 10 seconds, Frosty.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say that was great key defense by the Germans. I'm just not sure the French had a very coordinated attack, and obviously that player in the close corner here wandered into the key, and good job by that defender to keep him in there and force the timeout.
And it turns out lovely for Team France as they're able to score right off the inbounds play. Thierry finds Ivernat, and he gets away from the two German Czechs. Big hit by Vilka there on Verdun. Here comes Herbst. He'll be tracked down. No, cuts back the other way. Near side. Now he's got some help. Long pass over top to Vecca. Looked a bit casual, but it was a really nice pass.
Yeah, nice goal by the Germans. I thought they were going to get into trouble around the center line when what I thought it was a missed pick, but they recovered and scored the goal.
So Herbst electing to try to reach in and knock the ball off Ivernat's lap instead of making the hit. Ends up in Ivernat going coast to coast, and Verdun giving that signal, Frosty, you talked about earlier, the tapping the shoulders. Mm-hmm. Obviously an equipment problem, but I was talking more of the big circles,
yes,
or the
yes.
pointing to the axle or some other symbol for what needed to be repaired. Here's the French equipment technician. Pops that quick release axle back in. I wouldn't say that was the fastest wheel change I've ever seen, but
giving his player a rest.
Oh, yes, of course. That would be a very clever move. Riedel to Vecca, right away up to Josko Vilka, number 5, class 2 from Germany. The youngster. I believe he's only 18 years old.
But got a bright future in front of him, I would say.
Absolutely. Calm under pressure. Herbst, long bomb back to Vilka, and Vilka will score for Team Germany. We're approaching the 5-minute mark here, second quarter. France still up by 7, 19-12. Germans not able to make any inroads into that lead. Here comes Verdun now. He's got some room up the middle. Vilka reaches in. Herbst tracks him down. Runs into Le Guin. Nice little pick by Le Guin there. Or no, that was Thierry, sorry. Thierry, number 7. Here comes Vilka now. Passes up to Herbst. Relay to Vilka. He's got room. Le Guin won't catch him. And the team's happy to trade tries right now, Frosty.
Yeah, we're into try trading mode, which is at least keeping the Germans in the game for now.
So Germany really doesn't have an answer for Ivernat. He's able to escape that German full court defense, and he'll take his time going across the line as he waits for his teammates to set up defensively for the next possession. Herbst, though, trapping Ivernat deep in the court. Vilka looked to pass. Instead, he keeps it. Nice pick by Herbst. Vecca, ball hits his chair, picked up by Verdun. A little bit of miscommunication there by the Germans. And back comes Verdun. Boy, he's flying on the left side.
Yeah, maybe not miscommunication, but lack of communication. I'm not sure that the German receiver knew that ball was on the way.
So Marco Herbst now covered by Verdun. Nowhere to go. Spins back. Now he's got some room. Goes around Thierry. Got to get across center. Nice cross pick by Vilka. Vilka's open. Ball over his head. Nice grab by the youngster, and he'll cross the line for Germany.
Yeah, nice pass as well. It's tough to get a good weight on the ball when you're passing it to somebody in the middle who's got their back to you.
Yeah, that's right. Nicely put, Frosty, and back comes Ivernat. And the French relying on Ivernat Verdun's ball carrying skills, whereas Germans relying a bit more on passing. And we'll see how that unfolds as the game goes on. Ivernat waits for his teammates to set up in transition. Riedel pushes him across the line for the try.
Yeah, once again, the French team just not having any trouble scoring goals, and unless the Germans find a way to get some turnovers here, they're going to be in trouble.
So Vecca comes back to the ball. He gets away from Ivernat. Quite a burst of speed by Stefan Vecca there.
Yeah, and a nice moving pick there by his teammate to force Ivernat to have to change direction, and which resulted in the reasonably easy goal, easy try.
Le Guin to inbound for France. He's got Ivernat down there. Not really trapped, but ball gets into him anyway. And I'm not sure what the German strategy was on that defensive possession, because really was not very effective at all. As Ivernat able to wheel the length of the court pretty well unscathed.
Yeah, well, when your two highest point players are unable to control the other team's high point player, it's going to result in a easy goal for that team, and it does.
Herbst comes back for the ball now. Spins, turns, looks up. Long bomb to Vecca. Will he get it? No, he doesn't, as he runs into the sponsor signage at the end by the beer garden there.
Yeah.
You can see that pass just a bit too far.
Yeah, probably should have tried to have a little bit more velocity before the pass was made, because easier to stop and turn around for the ball than it is to catch up to the ball sometime.
So Le Guin, I believe, will inbound. Ball relayed by Ivernat to Verdun. He is hit, and down he goes.
Looks like a turnover.
It'll be Germany ball, I believe.
I believe, though. I didn't.
Just a sec now. The referee, I think, is signaling France. We'll see. Once Verdun.
I didn't see her indicate a penalty, and that ball clearly went off the French player.
Well, and he was also down, I guess, in a dangerous area where the ball was, so that would also trigger a whistle from the referee, presumably. So it was a loose ball. We'll see what the call is here. I think France will retain possession.
Yeah, they're definitely calling blue ball, and
let's hope everyone at home has good color sets, because blue and black jerseys are a bit tough to tell apart. Here comes Ivernat.
Yeah, usually they make you wear a darker and lighter color, and not the case today.
Perhaps well, it can't be a laundry problem, because the Marriott and Sheraton Airport hotels looked after so well. Both jerseys must be clean. Here's Vilka. He's in trouble over the top to Riedel. Tracked down instead by Ivernat, and back comes France as Germany turns that one over. Germany a little unlucky in the last couple of possessions. Big hit by Herbst as Ivernat passed that one, but puts enough arc on it that Verdun able to grab it easily.
Well, I did stop paying attention, and I wonder if after the French player fell and that ball was released, if it didn't roll out of bounds, then the referee stopped the play because of a fallen player. So theoretically, it would have remained French ball. So
yes, the correct call there by the referee. You're right. When we saw the replay, the ball did not go out of bounds. So Verdun, he is picked by Veka. Ball gets up to Josko Vilka, and he rolls in left side, just inside the post.
So when a player is sitting on the goal line with the ball, your teammate is allowed to come up and hit you and knock you over the goal line, which will account for a goal, but you're not allowed to push them. So
with your hands, you mean?
No, with your chair. So if you hit him and he moves,
okay,
great. But if you hit him and then you keep pushing,
yes,
that's a violation.
So heads up play by the German player just to bump his teammate across the line. There's Verdun now, and Ivernat Verdun really untouchable at this point.
Yeah.
27-16, a minute 27 to go, second quarter. Germany trying to get the ball over center. Veka to Herbst. Up ahead to Vilka. Long pass. Will he get there? No, he won't. And the Germans really a little flat on their passing as opposed to the arced pass that we're seeing the French use.
Yeah, I thought that was a good job by the Germans, actually, to get the ball over half. Just as we saw, poor execution on that last pass, but good work between the two players to sort of pick for each other and create that 2-on-1.
Certainly had a man open as Ivernat tries to attack Riedel inside the right post, and he's successful. Riedel giving him just a bit too much room, allowing him to attack the back of his chair. Herbst. Nice little touch pass back by Riedel. Vilka up ahead to Veka. That's a little bit better of a pass, but he'll be tracked down by Verdun, but crosses the line anyway, just inside the left post. And Germany looking a little bit better here in the late going of the second quarter.
Well, I think they've had a better second quarter than they did first quarter overall, but still have given up couple of turnovers.
Look out, Ivernat there with a big head of steam, but he's stopped by the German key defense. Again, the French offense a little bit static. Get a little lucky for that gap to open up there, as Germany was doing a good job of shutting the door.
Yeah. So it will be the Germans' ball to start the third quarter. So with 41.5 seconds to go, they do have an opportunity to perhaps score the last goal if that's what they decide. However, they've struggled. So
Vilka
see.
makes a nice move to wheel out of his own zone, gives it to Herbst. The Germans' half-court defense, not sure Riedel should have let Le Guin go, the 3-on-3, a bit more space, but, or I should say Chalmin, number 4. Here comes Vilka now. He's got a pick from Riedel. Does a little dipsy doodle and scores with 5 seconds to go.
Yeah, good job by the Germans to score with 5 seconds left, and it does look like France is not going to score this goal.
Oh, nice try by Verdun. I didn't even see him streaking down the right side. I wonder what the heck Yvernat was doing. And great play by the French to try to score as time wound down, but instead it'll be Germany scoring the last try and getting the next possession, but it's going to be a tall order as they are down 29-18 here at the 2020 Paralympic Qualification Tournament. And of course, the winner of this game gets to head to the travel agency and start booking their tickets to Japan. And Frosty, what's your analysis of that first half overall?
A solid half by the French. Offensively, the Germans got very few good looks, and defensively, the one-on-one matchups were just too much for the Germans, and it resulted in too many either mental mistakes or bad passes. Or so it's still lots of rugby to go, and you never know. But it doesn't look very promising for the German team moving forward. At least this game.
Yeah. Well, they've got a bright future ahead of them, though, because they are very, very young. The French team, of course, a few players with a bit more international experience. France, of course, I think was 5th at World Championship, were they? And there's that play we just saw, and you were correct, Frosty. The ball did not roll out of bounds, so it was a great call by the referees, and they've done a great job all week long here at the Richmond Olympic Oval. And speaking of which, you're getting a nice view of that right now. That you see the arches, the laminated arches made of the pine beetle wood from the interior BC, and of course the in between those baffles are all the pine beetle wood as well. So we will thank Richmond Olympic Oval. We'll thank Richmond Sport Hosting, who've hosted events here for many, many years. They promised they would make this facility, which was used for the Olympics only, for speed skating. They promised they would use it for parasport, during the bid process, and boy, have they lived up to that promise. Lots of events held here, lots of teams and groups and individuals train here. It's been a fantastic addition to high performance and recreation sport in the province of BC. Speaking of which, we'll thank the province of BC, the Government of Canada, BC Wheelchair Sports Association, Wheelchair Rugby Canada, and the International Wheelchair Rugby Federation, not to mention our corporate sponsors, Vesco, who make the rugby chairs and day chairs and parts, and of course a lot of athletes here sponsored by Vesco. Frosty, Molten make the official wheelchair rugby ball, as well as balls for other Paralympic and Olympic sports. House Lager, they are our sponsor for the beer garden, and that was quite a popular activity last night for the 6 o'clock game. Marriott Vancouver Airport Hotel and the Sheraton Vancouver Airport Hotel. And I've got to say, Frosty, I've stayed in a lot of hotels in my time. Never slept as well as I have at the Marriott this week, and never really enjoyed as good meals as I have at the Sheraton, as they supplied the meals for all the athletes. Wheelchair rugby, of course, Frosty, invented in Canada. Talk about that for a moment.
Back in the 70s, there were a group of athletes who were trying to play wheelchair basketball, but because of their disability, being quadriplegics, they were struggling to score baskets, I suppose. So from what I'm told, they got a volleyball and some garbage cans, and next thing you know, this sport murder ball was born. And I believe there was another group of athletes just over the border in the U.S. and started playing some games, and here we are today, wheelchair rugby.
And of course, Murder Ball, the movie. A lot of people have seen that, and if not, you can probably find it somewhere on either one of the movie providers on the internet. It's a good a good story about the game and about some of the characters that play the game, of course. Obviously, some of the names have been changed to protect the innocent. But Duncan Campbell, who lives out here in BC now, was one of the inventors of murder ball, and then it became quad rugby, and then now wheelchair rugby. And I think in the States they still call it quad rugby, if I'm not mistaken, or have they changed that now?
Yeah, I think they. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, Tim. So I won't venture a guess. It's hard to believe it's been 15 years since they released the movie Murder Ball. Time has sure gone by quick. It might seem a little dated if you watched it now, but back in those days, it was a pretty progressive movie portraying people with disabilities as athletes and competitors rather than that, feel-good type of story you sometimes get with our population.
Excellent, and we are back to the action here. Third quarter, Herbst with the ball over top to Vilka. He's guarded by two French players. Salagi back in the game after having that equipment repair. Herbst creates a little bit of space left side, and Vilka heads up to cross the try line.
Yeah, nice job by the German key attack there.
So Chalmin will inbound for France to Ivernat. He's trapped over the top to Salagi, and he'll take a little bit of a slipped pick, I guess, from Nankin there to cruise to the try line.
Yeah, well, it's so tough when you able to finally eliminate the French high pointer Jonathan. Just makes a nice pass, and you get beat by somebody else.
So Marco Herbst comes back to the ball, but instead it goes to Vecca. He's covered by Nankin and Chalmin. Bit of trouble there. Ball goes up to Marco Herbst. He's got some room now, and he'll cross the line easily. And pass the ball to the referee as he goes across. Vecca, good job not going out of bounds there.
And a nice pick by
Riedel,
the German low pointer to spring his high pointer.
And that pass over top to Ivernat, he'll score easily. Herbst cannot track him down, and team's just content here to score back and forth without a lot of contact or excitement, although now France doing a good job of double teaming Herbst, but Vecca, right side, he's going to go one-on-one against Ivernat. Ivernat turns him back. Good defense by the French high pointer. Vecca runs into a bit of trouble there. Nankin knocks the ball away and picked up by Salagi as Germany had something going, and then all of a sudden nothing. Here comes Salagi.
Well, nobody to blame but himself there. He had tons of space to wheel around, and for whatever reason decided to take the ball right into the pile where there was a couple of defenders already. And
a great 2-on-2 defense by the Germans there against the two high pointers from France. And now Riedel comes back to join the effort. Nowhere to go for Salagi, nowhere to go for Ivernat. Time running down here on the possession clock. Ivernat elects to call a timeout with a couple seconds to go on the possession clock, so they'll get an extra 13 with which to score. And we see that replay where Vecca had the ball knocked away from him by Nankin, number 3 for France.
Yeah, nice play by him. And then the French team struggled 2-on-3 there because they sort of just kept trying to attack the middle of the key where the defenders were rather than getting them moving and creating a 2-on-1 or some open court.
So Ivernat gets a new wheel. And 15 seconds with which to attempt to score against the German key defense. Runs into a bit of a gap there, bounces off, spins, and backs in across the line. And you think you got the guy stopped, and then he just spins around you and backs across. Riedel looking for someone to pass to. He's got Vilka. Nankin there. Vilka gets away from him. He's got some room right side now. Got Marco Herbst with him. Passes before the hit. Herbst is hit Nice quick pass to Vecca, left side. And Earps does well to hang on to that one and
Yeah.
whip that ball across to his teammate Stefan Vecca, number 8.
Yeah, good job by him to make that play, despite the French pressure.
And that hit was hard enough to knock his wheel loose.
Yes.
And we know all about that, don't we? Not bad, though, for I don't know how many games we've done, 20 some odd games, and to only get run into once.
Once, yeah. Yeah.
Long pass over the top to Ivernau. He'll turn back, wait for his teammates to set up in transition, then cross the line. France now up 33-21, 5:22 to go. Vilka will inbound for Germany. Here comes Vecca. Gets past Nankin. No, he doesn't. He gets hooked. Vecca in a bit of trouble here. Up to Vilka. Long pass over the top. Riedel can't hang on. And the French defense forces that turnover.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be successful. Probably should have been caught by the German player, but unfortunately for him, it was not.
So while the Germans were lamenting that turnover, the French quickly inbounded up to Ivernau, and he's able to score easily.
Yeah,
Heads up play by France.
Now the Germans are in trouble to get the ball in here. Oh, the referee stopped the play. I'm assuming it was a contact.
Contact warning.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Germans are denied from getting the ball in here. Could be trouble for them.
A long pass up ahead to Marco Erbs. Heads up play by Vilka. This young fella has really impressed me all week long.
Yeah. No, I was thinking the exact same thing. Very heads up play. And it's how you take advantage of a denied defense. You throw it over top of them.
So it looks like Nankin with a flat tire. Not sure if you can hear it at home, but we can hear them on the court here. Every time the tire pops, we hear the big hissing sound as the pit crew in there to make that change. So Nankin looks like he's ready to go. The French now with their set offense. Let's see if we can get some more movement out of them, as we've seen it a bit stagnant.
Yeah.
And that was a good example there. A little more movement on the offense, a few more picks, making the German defenders move.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just stole your line.
No, that's quite all right.
You've trained me well all week long.
That's right. I'm having a coffee break. You go ahead.
So Vilka gets it into Riedel. Right away back to Vilka. There's Vecca this time all alone deep, and Vilka heads up play as he passed that one to his teammate.
Yeah, one of the keys to, I think, that particular play by the Germans was just the space on the court. They were able to execute that give and go, and then by the time the French players arrived, just had to pass it over top.
So Chalmin will pass it in to Salagui. Kicks it back to the court general, Ivernau. He's really the quarterback of this squad. The number one, as we like to say.
Number one, yeah.
He's looking for a bit of space. There's some good movement again by the French team, but nice job Germany to close off all the gaps. A bit of a gap on the far side, and Ivernau finds it.
So able to score there, but would have been a little bit easier. I thought their timing was just a little bit off at the start. When Ivernau was making the German defense move, the remainder of the French players just came in a little bit late, and the Germans were able to kind of get themselves back into position, prepare for that.
Vilka, double teamed by Chalmin and Salagui. Gets it up to Erbs. He's hit by Nankin and hooked. Erbs gets away from Nankin. Passes up to Riedel. He's hit hard. He'll hand off, or attempt to hand off to Vecca. And there's going to be a penalty here. The danger of reaching in and tying that ball up, as tempting as it may seem, is the possibility of a penalty. So.
Yeah, and the referees have pretty much been calling that consistently all week long, you know. So, you know, teams should be ready for that by now. And, yeah, you can see him on the arm a couple of times, and he called it.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. Yes, it's Salagi in the penalty box. I was looking on the wrong side. Becca inbounds now to Vilka. He's hit hard and pushed out of bounds. So a costly turnover there for Team Germany.
Once again, great defense by Cedric. He is a one-man wrecking crew on the that side of the ball.
Chalmin looking for someone to pass to. He's waiting for some subs as the whistle has not gone. And Riedel comes out of the game. Walter in. Vilka out. And number 3, Florian Bongard in the game for long pass up the head to Nankin. He grabs it but goes out of bounds. Bit of an errant pass, really.
Yeah, good effort by him to track it down, though. Thought maybe he would use a timeout. But I guess with a player in the penalty box and a big lead, decided that not a good time to burn their final one.
Although with a 36-23 lead, the timeouts become a bit of a moot point. Big hit by Nankin on Walter there.
Second big defensive play by him with a man in the penalty box. And
take a look at the replay. Lines him up. Walter not even looking. And of course, Walter lands on Nankin. And so will presumably head to the penalty box, will he?
I think that'll just result in a turnover. That since obviously the Germans were possessing the ball when that play occurred.
Right, so Walter avoids the penalty there. Must have avoided Nankin as well. So
well, they did have the turnover, so
it'll be Team France with the ball. Chalmin set to inbound on the sideline there. Referees have got all the scorekeeping details assuredly written down, so now they can get back to the game. Here comes Ivernau. 3-on-4 with Nankin and Chalmin. Nankin with a big hit. Ivernau into the back of Bongard, moves him enough to bounce off and roll across the line right side. Walter now. He got the start for Team Germany. Beats Ivernau. Excellent play by the young German high pointer, number 10, Walter. And Salagi will come back, I presume, to inbound, or no, the Germans missing an opportunity there. Chalmin, shovel pass to Salagi. He's got a bit of space. And he'll use it near side, runs into Vilka. Great grab by Ivernau. As that pass was a bit short. He's hit by Vilka. And Ivernau will roll across the line past Walter. Marco Erb's getting a well-deserved rest for Team Germany as Walter takes his place.
Yeah, just so hard to stop one-on-one, and once again showing that he's the best player on the court for either team.
Team France looks like they're taking a short timeout, and we'll take that time to remind you that upcoming here at 2 o'clock Pacific Savings Time, it'll be Canada versus Colombia in a Battle of the Americas. Winner of that, of course, will go to Tokyo, and that'll be on CBCSports.ca, Murderball.tv, and of course the Canadian Paralympic Committee Facebook page. Benoit Huot, our swimmer extraordinaire, now doing media work for the CPC, will carry some extended coverage, some interviews, some highlight packages. Doing a great job with the Paralympic Super Series. Look forward to what Benoit has to say about the games. I talked to him this morning, and he was pretty pumped about Canada's performance here this week as they've gone undefeated. Walter now, right side, outruns Verdun. He's hit by number 5, Jarlin. He's trapped in the corner. Ball gets popped away into Jarlin's waiting hands. He's double teamed. Germany's got to be careful here not to get a timeout. Good job by Jarlin to bounce that one over the top, and Vecca picks it off. So a little bit of a break for Germany there, Frosty, on the steal.
Yeah, so turnovers both ways, obviously. A little bit sloppy as both teams have really gone to their bench and away from their starting lineups. Star players.
Number 5, the mid to high pointers, we might say 2.5 in for France. He's tall, has had a good outing this week. Long pass up ahead to Verdun. And Verdun will beat Walter across the line. France with a 39-25 lead. A minute 49, Frosty, left in this third quarter. Bongard gets it into Walter. He's got a bit of room right side. He'll outrun, I believe that is Valentin, but he's tracked down by Verdun. Wow, what a burst of speed by number 33 from France.
Yeah, quick player.
Walter gets it back again. Guarded by Jarlin. Cuts through the hole. He's got a man open left side. Elects to try to take it himself. Now it's Vecca right side. Ball tipped by Verdun. And I think Vecca may have been over the line.
Yeah, one of them went out of bounds and will result in a turnover and French ball. And that's why those guys are out there now, because, you know, learning experience, and over the next 4 years they'll be better because of this.
Well, there can be nothing more pressure-packed than a winner-takes-all single game to go to the Paralympics. That's a lot of fun, but a bit nerve-wracking, I'm sure, for some of the rookies.
I'm sure it is.
And, the only way to get experience, Frosty, is to get experience.
Get experience, yeah.
A wise coaching tip from the broadcast booth.
I'm writing that down. Thank you.
France. Verdun spins away from Walter, hit by Bongard, but gets it up to Valentin. Nicolas Valentin, number 1 for Team France, class 2. Gets it back to Verdun, and Verdun will go on the left side just inside the post. Back comes Bongard now to inbound. Long or high pass to Walter, almost picked off by Verdun. Walter kicks it up to the youngster Vilka. He ends up just passing the ball into open space to avoid that 12-second count, and no Germans in sight, so here comes Verdun. Verdun crosses center, surveys his attack options here as there are some gaps, but not a lot of French player movement, although now they reset to run the half court. Verdun doesn't want it anymore, gives it to Jarlin. And the French will roll in. Nice little moving screen by number 1 Valentin on the left side there to allow Jarlin to score. 41-25, a scant 11 seconds left in this third quarter for Germany to establish a bit of momentum. That pass neatly grabbed by Vilka, but the long arm of Verdun tips the pass. Vilka really didn't have a lot of choice here. He had to pass that one quickly, so
yeah,
to be fair to him, that was a tough play. As we end the third quarter, 41-25 in favor of Team France, and right now it's looking pretty good, Frosty, for France to end up in Tokyo to join Australia, of course, New Zealand, Japan, the host, naturally will be there, but they are a solid team,
yeah,
obviously. USA, Great Britain, and Denmark. So Germany looks like they're going to book their ticket to be team number 7, and we'll see at 2 o'clock Pacific Savings Time whether Canada can defeat Colombia. Canada, of course, undefeated in the tournament so far. Colombia 3-3. So high hopes there for Team Canada.
Well, it would be, based on the way Canada's performed this week, it would be surprising if they weren't able to take care of Colombia and secure that what's going to be the final spot at the Paralympics, but that's why we play the games, because nothing is ever guaranteed, I suppose.
Yep, fair enough.
Except for great coaching tips from Tim Frick.
That's right. And there's a couple of plays by Nankin, their number 3 for France. He's really been a force for them, kind of the unsung hero. You know, you look at the guys that carry the ball, the 1 and the 2, you know, Verdun, Salagui, and obviously Ivernat, who's had an outstanding tournament. But, you know, there's players behind the scenes that make these things happen with picks and holds and moving screens and great defense. And
yeah, there's been some great play by low pointers so far this week, but number 3, Cedric from France, certainly has my vote for an impact performance for this French squad.
And so Jarlin now, number 5 for Team France, takes that pass from Le Guin. And the French will set up their half-court offense. He's joined by Verdun and number 1, Nicolas Valentin. A little bit of a hole there in the German defense up the middle as Verdun hooked Walter's chair, I think. Just long enough to open up the gap.
Yeah.
The subtleties of the game of wheelchair rugby are not lost on me. There's Sauerbier into the game for Germany first time. We saw a lot of them early in the tournament, but not much in yesterday's game. Vilke over the top to Sauerbier. He's got Walter with him. Nice little bounce pass, and Walter across right side. Jarlin looking for some room. Gets away from Sauerbier. Sauerbier comes back, hits him, but Jarlin bounces off, and the French with a 2-on-2 here, full court. A pair of 5s battling for the ball, and one of them will head to the penalty box, I believe, and that'll be Jasko Wilke.
Yeah.
Wilke, I should say.
Bit of a reach there, but really you're at a point in the game now where if you don't take some chances and look for that ball, I mean, you need to come back. What is it, 18 points? So
yeah, you need to gamble, and it's possibly a little too late even for that, as Verdun now will take his time, and France will try to trap Vilke in the penalty box to get him to declare inbounder, but Vilke's a great inbounder, so
yeah,
I think he'd be happy to take that role.
Yeah, you don't usually try to trap somebody who's going to inbound anyway. But nonetheless, that's the tactic they're employing, so we'll see what they try and get from it.
So lots of jockeying mid-court here as Le Guin and Valentin going up against Bongard and Sauerbier. Here comes Vilke to inbound, as you say, anyway. Walter covered by Verdun one-on-one. He gets the pass. Vilke with a nice little moving screen. Walter gets away. Here he comes now, up the middle. Verdun tracks him down. Walter with his head down a little bit there, missed an open player and tries to get it to over the top to Vilke, but boy, the reach of Verdun is just too much.
Yeah, when you put yourself in a difficult position and you have your back to the play and you're surrounded by 2 top players, it's certainly hard to get the ball out.
Especially just over center, as the center line effectively acts as a third defender.
It certainly does.
Bongard into Walter. That time he outreached Verdun. He's got some room right side. Jarlin across to stop his progress. Walter spins away from him. Good pass up to Vilke. Vilke's hit a couple times. He spun around, but possibly to his advantage. But as he was spinning backwards, I think he lost velocity on that pass, picked off by Verdun.
Yeah, it certainly didn't come out as hard as he wanted, and because his momentum was going in the wrong direction.
And you can use that that example of the application of force next week in your coaching course.
I certainly will. Remember when it happened in the game.
Yeah, that's right. Here comes Walter now, right side. He's got a head of steam going. Valentin won't even try, and across Walter goes to score the try. Is 5:29 left here in the game. 45-26 in favor of France, and things looking very good for Team France. right now. If you're Team Germany and you call a timeout, what are you discussing at this juncture in the game? You know that the odds of going to Tokyo have just pretty well evaporated. What do you do?
Well, I'm reasonably confident that he's going to put out a line that probably either aren't used to playing together or so you're just kind of reminding them what the goals of this shift are and how they can be successful based on who's out there.
Based on process rather than outcome, I guess.
Yeah.
Here comes Ivernat now back in the game for Team France. There's some wholesale changes here for Team Germany. We'll update those in a moment here. Meanwhile, Ivernat looking for some space. Morrow backs in and nothing going. There's a bit of a gap and Ivernat just bursts through to score the try. So in for Germany as we watch Ivernat's last attack. Kripken, number 4. Marco Erbst, number 1. Moybach, number 14, I believe. And number 9, Torsten Altmann. Or Torsten Altmann, I guess it would be the correct German pronunciation. So Erbst there with the try. He'll stop Morrill. Morrill over the top to Ivernat. Ivernat, what a tournament he's had. Blows right past Erbst. He's got Valentin with him, but he elects to keep it himself as both teams set up for the next possession. Maybach will likely push Ivernat across the line, and sure enough, he'll inbound for the Germans.
I'm a little surprised to be seeing Ivernat out there this late in the game with this big of a lead, but I'm sure the French team is working on some specific lineups here. So
Germany a bit lucky there as Moybach tried that long pass to Erbst. It hits the chair of Nicolas Valentin and bounces out of bounds. Germany will get a corner throw in. Kripke up to number 9, Altmann. Over the top to Maybach. Maybach, he's got a bit of space now, left side. Runs into a couple of French players. Double teamed. Long pass across to Altmann, but I don't think he saw Morrill in the way.
Yeah.
Morrill tipped it, and here comes Ivernat.
Probably just needed to be a little bit more patient with the ball there. He did a good job of getting the ball over half and then getting his dribble in. And
so the lead now at 20 as we see Morrill coming out of nowhere to knock that ball down. A couple of young wheelchair rugby fans in the crowd today. Hopefully they're not in the beer garden. No, they're not. We can see them now.
No.
Well, Altmann now, number 9. Nifty little pass over the top to Erbst. He's hooked. Gets away though. Here comes Germany. Erbst all alone. Got Maybach there to run interference. And he'll score. So a bit of a spark for Germany here in the latter half of the fourth quarter. Chalmin set to inbound. Looking for, guess who? Ivernat, number 21 for France. He's looking for some space, weaves around a couple of Germans. Hit by Erbst, but gets the pass away to Morrill. And he'll go by Kripke there as Kripke attempted that hit, but instead of scoring though, he waits for his team to set up. Gives it to Ivernat. There's some space on the goal line. And Ivernat will add to his very impressive try total this week.
Looks like one of the teams will be using a bench timeout so they can make some substitutions.
So France sending 3 players into the game. Ducret, who we haven't seen very much of. Thierry, and number 5, Rodolphe Jarlin. So Ivernat getting a well-deserved rest. So Marco Erbst will inbound for Germany. Long pass. Up ahead to Maybach. Can't quite track it down, and it's tipped into the hands of Jarlin. And back comes Jarlin. Herbst tries to steal the ball. Almost did, but Jarlin hangs on. And boy, those tall French players really having an impact here as Maibach kind of a Hail Mary over the top of the head.
Yeah, well, you know, the French really have gone to their bench for almost the second half and still have managed to create turnover after turnover. Even, you know, I know the French team is in their bench a little bit as well, but
well, that one picked off by Morrow. Maibach is in a bit of a trouble, I guess, getting the ball over in 12 seconds and tried the bullet pass. Intercepted nicely by Morrow. Good anticipation, and here comes the French team with a half-court attack. And there's a nice set play, Frosty.
that was really an error by the German defender who was playing in the middle of the court there. You've got to stop the ball. You can't just focus on the first player in the key. Somebody's got to pick up the ball carrier.
Maibach now for Team Germany. He's covered by Thierry. Gets it to Herbst. Herbst with a quick pass over top of his head to avoid the violation. Ball hits a French player. Comes directly to Morrill. And Morrill, if I was him, I'd be out buying lottery tickets later because that ball keeps landing in his lap, left, right, and center.
Yeah, threw himself out of the chair there.
See that desperation play by Herbst, and in doing so ended up on the ground. Back in playing position though quickly as France up 51-29, just over 2 minutes to go in the quarter, and the France liking to run their half-court attack against the German key defense. And here they come. And that time it's Morrill who keeps it and crosses the line behind the screen of Jarlin. Boy, Germany really struggling here to get anything going in the late stages. Herbst hit by Jarlin but hangs on. He's got some room now. Nice pick by Kripke there. Herbst runs into Valentin. He's triple teamed by the French. Spins away though. There's a pick by Maibach, and finally a little bit of spark for Team Germany as Herbst goes across the line left side.
It's their first goal in a while, is it not?
I believe so. 52-30 now. France well in control. They'll be happy to trade tries, I suppose, at this point.
Bit of a penalty by the German, let go by the referee.
I believe, is that Maibach on the ground there? Yes,
I believe so, yeah.
A hit by Maibach, and he ends up taking the brunt of it as he's down on the court. The equipment squad in there to put Maibach back into playing position, and he'll inbound the ball. France backs off a little bit on defense here, and well, that will be a penalty to, or is it to Altman, or not quite sure what's going on here, Frosty. I think the German maybe thought it was their ball over there. That's why he was out of bounds. So Jarlin trapped in the corner. McGuinn comes over. Morrill, guarded closely by Herbst, gets away from him. Will elect to use some time as they will try to score, presumably with 55 seconds or so to go. Nice defense by Altman. Morrill passes to Valentin. He's hit hard and rocked, but hangs on.
Yeah, good job by the French team to manage the clock and score at a time that works for them.
And Maibach there hit Valentin quite effectively, but not effectively enough to stop the try. And Germany in trouble deep in their own zone. That ball tipped up by Altman. Now Maibach and Herbst will have a 2-on-0, and Herbst just nods and says, "You take it."
That's right.
And we've got a popped axle here at center court as the French equipment technician comes out to reset the.
So they're inbounding the ball in the corner. I guess that was no goal.
Oh, you're
I
right.
didn't see why that would be.
I missed that call. I was watching the equipment timeout,
Yeah.
which I thought occurred after the try. So
Yeah, I can't imagine what happened, but
my bad, putting pressure on Jarlin now. Back screen by number 14, Ducre. Here comes Jarlin, barreling up the middle, but nothing doing. He passes to Ducre, but it'll be Germany ball. Uncharacteristic turnover by France. Marco Herbst alertly passing that ball deep to a teammate for a try. There's a little bit of controversy here as the referees were not finished signaling what was happening there. One referee handed the ball to Herbst a bit early.
well, the referee does have to indicate to the table that a timeout was used.
Herbst, a long pass up ahead, picked off by Valentin, but it will mean nothing as France will, I guess, take a decisive victory here, 54-30, and they will be heading to Tokyo. So congratulations to Coach Olivier Cousin and his team from France, 6th ranked in the world, so they will join the other teams already named: Australia, New Zealand, Japan, USA, Great Britain, and Denmark. And stay tuned here on murderball.tv as well as cbcsports.ca for the second qualification match, and we'll see who the 8th team will be in Tokyo. Will it be Canada or will it be Colombia? But first, Frosty, what's your analysis of this game?
Well, I think that really the better team won. They were the better team all week. They were the better team the first time these two teams played, and certainly the better team today. Congratulations to the French squad. Full credit to them. They certainly outperformed the German team both defensively and offensively, and there will be a team to be reckoned with in Tokyo in a few months. And congratulations to the Germans. People outside of this tournament need to think of this tournament as an extension of the Paralympics. That's how it works in world ranking points, and effectively the Germans are finishing 9th at the Paralympics. That's how it's going to be viewed from that. So I think that's a step up for them based on where they've been over the last couple of years. And as we pointed out a couple of times in this broadcast, they are a young and upcoming team. And, this experience plus the other ones they've had over the last couple of years is going to pay dividends in 4 years when they're trying to qualify for 2024.
Absolutely, and we'll take a look at a few highlights as we wind things down. While you're watching the highlights, I'll thank our sponsors, BC Wheelchair Sports Association, Wheelchair Rugby Canada, International Wheelchair Rugby Federation. You see their logo in the background there. Province of BC, Government of Canada, Richmond Sport Hosting, Richmond Olympic Oval, and of course Vesco Molten House Lager, and the Marriott Vancouver Airport Hotel and the Sheraton Vancouver Airport Hotel. And the Germans, though, bright future, young players like Herbst and number 5, Vilka. Moybach, you see there, number 14. Even though he tipped that one away, he's still a lot of youth on the German team. And France, though, quite a deep bench. They were able to put players like Verdun and Jarnal in there and really not lose a beat. And Morrill, number 10. So Team France will be a force to be reckoned with, as you say, in Tokyo. So that will do it for us, Frosty. I'm Tim Frick alongside Adam Frost. We will see you at 2 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time as Canada takes on Colombia in a bid to earn a berth to Tokyo 2020.